Hello folks. Today I want to talk about the options that we have for water storage and the issues we run into when we're living in suburbia. First, let's look at the recommendations of the experts. According to them, you should have between 1 and 4 gallons of water per person per day. If your stored water is from a city system that is treated with chlorine, you do not need to add bleach. If you do need to add bleach, you should add about 1/8 of a teaspoon for every gallon in the storage container, and you should rotate water stored in this manner every 6 months. Commercially purchased water, sealed in bottles, should keep for up to 5 years. And then finally, you should store your water in a cool, dark place. So those are the 5 recommendations from the experts. So this brings us to how many days should you store for? The problem is water weighs 8 pounds per gallon and it takes up a lot of space. The 2 barrels that I have there in the background represent 100 gallons, which at 3 gallons a day for a family of 4 is only 8 days of water. At a minimum, I believe you should have at least 3 days supply of water stashed away. To last a month, I would need approximately 6 more barrels, taking up a lot more room. So storing water for a month becomes a real space issue. Folks who live in an apartment are doubly challenged. So, what can we do? Well, there are some creative solutions we can employ. First, start at the minimum 3 days and figure out how much water you need. They make barrels and small containers like this, as small as 3 gallons and up to 5,000. I have links to various suppliers below, but be aware that shipping is where things get expensive. Keep in mind also that the fewer containers and barrels that you use to come up with your water volume, the fewer you will need to clean each rotation. But the other disadvantage will be requiring a large dedicated space if you go with one large single container. Another alternative is to use store-bought water bottles or recycled pop bottles. You can see those over there on the right. First, you have some flexibility in storage as you can divide them up and put them wherever you have room. Second, you can slowly use them, thus rotating your water as time passes. Third, you can fill the free space in your fridge or freezer with them. They will allow your refrigerator to run more efficiently once they have chilled down, and they will keep your refrigerator or freezer cold in the event of a power outage. And finally, store-bought bottles will keep for up to 5 years if unopened. The disadvantage of using pop bottles or the smaller water bottles is first, you need a lot of them to get an appreciable volume. And second, if you rotate your water all at once every 6 months, you will have numerous pop bottle containers to rinse, clean, and then refill. So this brings me to another creative option, and that is water bobs or aquapod kits. You can see that down here on the bottom left. These are basically large water bladders that you place in your bathtub and fill up in the event of an emergency. This can give you several extra 100 gallons if you have a couple bathrooms. The key is knowing that an emergency has occurred and filling the bladders before water stops flowing. I have several of these, and it would take my water reserves up past 300 gallons, giving me and my family a month's worth of water. Beyond a month, I believe you need to have a water replenishment strategy as opposed to a water storage strategy. So to recap my thoughts on water storage, I agree with the experts that you need to have at least 3 days of water storage for you and your family based on the 1 to 4 gallons per person per day. You can use water barrels, aquatainers, water bricks, repurposed 2-liter soda bottles, store-bought water bottles. The options are numerous for finding containers for your water. It all depends on how much space you have to put them in, and can you find one large centralized space for several water barrels or one big large water tank, or do you need to stash them in the fridge, under the bed, in the closet, all around your living space in order to get that water volume that you may need? For long-term survival, I believe you should consider having some water bobs or aquapod kits to give you additional time for your water replenishment strategy to be put in place. If you are really fortunate, you may have a pool or hot tub to draw from if you live in suburbia. If you have additional suggestions or advice for storing water, I would love to hear them. Please use the comments section accordingly. As always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.